we're going to start by defining this idea of precision a little bit more formally. So precision is, of the sentences that showed on my website, which fraction were actually positive. In general, it's the fraction of positive predictions that are actually positive. Precision then is the fraction of positive predictions that were actually positive. So let's say that my algorithm predicted that the 6 sentences were positive. So it predicted y hat equals +1 for the 6 sentences. But in reality, only 4 out of those 6 were truly positive. So we got 4 truly positive ones and 2 false positives in the mix. So its precision was 4/6. So in general, we have a set of data points we're calling positive, that we're predicting to be positive, y hat, in this case, I equals +1. Some of them are truly positive, the yi is +1, but some of them were actually not positive, so the yi was actually -1. And the question is, how big a fraction of those are the ones that are actually truly positive? So here is where we can review that notion of true positives and true negatives. And so we can look at this table where on the rows we have the true label, yi, while in the columns we have the predicted label, y hat. And so if the truth is positive and the predictor is positive, we call that a true positive. It was positive and it was true. If the true label is -1 and the prediction is -1, we call that true negative. It was negative and we predicted negative, -1. So both of those are correct. But there are 2 types of mistakes we can make. The first type is what we call false negatives. It was truly a positive review, but we predicted it to be negative. So yi was +1, y hat was -1. And finally, a false positive is one where the true label was -1, but the prediction was +1. So the truth was negative, we predicted it to be positive, so it's a false positive. I find it very helpful to ground these ideas of false positive and false negative in the context of an example, to really kind of really feel it and really understand what the impact of those mistakes can be. So let's look at this matrix here again. If we look at the top left, we have a truly positive sentence. So it was a +1 sentence, and we got it right. So we had a +1 prediction. So that's no mistake. That's great. Similarly, for the bottom right, we didn't make a mistake. We had a -1 sentence, so a negative sentence, and we made a negative prediction. Now, the problematic ones are the other 2. So let's look first at the top one. So what happened here was that I had a positive sentence, but a -1 prediction. So what does this actually mean? There was a positive sentence in the world that I thought was negative, so I missed a sentence to show my website. Maybe this is not too bad, there might be some positive things it said, so maybe missing one is not that bad, but it's still a problem. But let's look at the other quadrant here. The other quadrant is when we have a -1 sentence, but I made a +1 prediction. In other words, it was a negative sentence in the world, in a review, and I thought it was positive. So that means that I showed a bad thing. I showed a bad review on my website. So this is quite problematic. I showed a bad review on the website. Maybe it said, the sushi sucked. Everybody read it. Nobody comes to my restaurant anymore. Big trouble. With these definitions, we can now talk about precision in a little bit more precise way. So precision is the fraction of the true positives to all my positive predictions. So the true positives to the false positives. And it has best possible value 1. That means that everything I predict to be positive is actually positive. And worst possible value 0. Everything I predict to be positive turned out to be negative. In our example here, we had 4 true positives. So 4 things that I predicted to be positive and were actually positive. And then we had 4 positives and 2 negatives in there. So we had a grand total here of 4/6 or 2/3, just like we said in the beginning. So 2 mistakes, 4 corrects. Now, in the context of our application, what would happen would be, I'm going to show the 6 sentences on my website. Unfortunately, I ended up showing 2 negative sentences on my website. So, for example, I'll show that this one here, which says, the seaweed salad was just okay. The vegetable salad was just ordinary. And so, basically, the salad sucked in my restaurant. And so, that might not be good. I don't want to show bad stuff on my website. So, I want to make sure that I'm high precision, which means things that are predicted to be positive are actually positive.